Hey, there we are, Brunch with Brian. So, good morning. It's Friday. It's Formal Dining Room Friday. As you brunchers know, that's what we like to say. I see Robert's on early. He's already on saying good morning. That's awesome. So, did you know that it's National Be a Millionaire Day? Actually, we have a whole bunch of national days. You guys know that sometimes when I go by the national days, they give me a good little talking point. So, it's Be a Millionaire Day. And it's also International Virtual Assistant Day. So I know a lot of you guys use virtual assistants. So that's kind of cool. So if you have a VA, you've got to give her a shout out today. Send her a special email or one of those GIFs or GIFs, whatever you call them, and a little message, Happy International Virtual Assistance Day. So also, guys, it's Bee Day, it's National Rescue Dog Day, but I want to talk about being a millionaire. So it's National Be a Millionaire Day. So what does that really mean? You know, people used to talk about being a millionaire like, boy, if you were a millionaire, you were set for life, right? It's not really the case anymore. But if you had $1 million in the bank, you would be pretty much, I guess I would have to say, if you use your money intelligently and if you invest in income producing assets. Okay, that's the whole key here. Because if you had $1 million, what would you do? I want to look at $1 million two different ways. How would you invest $1 million to set yourself up for life? And how long would it take you to earn $1 million? Okay, so if you look at $1 million, if you were to invest it, now remember, we love pre-funded properties where maybe we put little or nothing down on that property. So, but let's say you had $1 million to work with. Now you can put, large down payments. It'd be a lot easier to get a lot more deals. Now we are doing some interesting things with funding and with some blended funding now that enables us to do some things that are like, even when the seller wants a big down payment, it's still a nothing down deal to us. So I want you guys to be aware of that we're doing some very interesting things with funding. But if you had $1 million and you were going to invest it, I would not want you buying, going on the MLS and buying 10, $100,000 houses and having them free and clear. Now, let's look at that though. What if you did that? What if you had $1 million and you bought 10 houses that were all $100,000? I want you to follow the 1% rule, which is you're going to try to get those rents to equal 1% or more of the value of the property. So if you're investing in the right areas, you can absolutely find properties like that. That might not be in your area. However, there's a lot of areas in the country where you can find that. So virtual investing is a huge thing for us now. We do a lot of deals at a distance, as we call it. We have a system called deals at a distance. A lot of you guys have that system. So buying properties at a distance, you want to look for those 1% rule markets, which again, the rent equals 1% or more of the value. If you bought 10 houses at $100,000 each and got the 1% rule in effect, you'd be making $1,000 on each house. Remember, 1% of the value, $1,000 per month rent would be $100,000 value, so it works. So that'd be $10,000 passive income every month. Most of us can, survive on $10,000 passive income per month, especially when you get to the point where your house is paid off. That's most people's biggest expense, and car payments and things like that. Then, of course, we have ongoing expenses like kids' education. I mean, your kids might be going to college. That's big one-time expense. You might have elderly parents that you have to help support. So there's lots of drains on that income. So that $10,000 sometimes doesn't go as far as you would hope. But generally, I think most of us, once you guys get your house paid off, now I want you to live in your dream house and have it paid off. And that doesn't, it depends on what you want for a dream house, and how long that's going to take. But remember, if you have a home, I want you to live in your dream city and live in your dream home. And if that's just half the year, like you live in Philly and you're never going to move out because all your family's there and everything, you should have an Airbnb on the Gulf Coast or somewhere great where you can live there during winter, and Airbnb it and make a bunch of money the rest of the year. So there's lots of plans with real estate, and that's the thing. I mean, you start to get blue sky thinking when you start thinking about being a millionaire. Now, I want you guys to be multi-millionaires, by the way, not just a millionaire. So you could probably set yourself up pretty well with $1 million. Now, but that's not the plan I would do. If you actually had $1,000,000, I would have you go really pursuing pre-funded deals, seller finance deals, and use big down payments. You could buy, what if you had a $20,000 or $30,000 down payment on every property? Let's say $30,000, $33,300. You're coming into every seller financing deal, hey, I've got $33,000 to put down. Okay, so how on $1,000,000, that'd be how many properties? 30 properties. So you'd be able to buy, now if you had 30 properties, and what's your cash flow that I want you to target for? I want you to aim for between $300 to $500 cash flow per property per month. And then obviously when the house gets paid off, that jumps way up. We had one of our houses pay off where I think our spread was about $500 a month. Our payment was like $1,100 and we were getting like $1,600 a month, and then it paid off, you know. And so when the mortgage is paid off, then that $1,600 is all pure cash flow. So that's when, you know, you start to have a bunch of free and clear properties. Now it's going to take you a little while. You won't have free and clear properties right away, but that's okay because they're already cash flowing $300 to $500 every month, and that's $5,000 to $6,000 a year, you know. And so when you get, let's say you've got, you know, 30 properties all cash flowing at $5,000 a year, that's $150,000 a year, and they're all paying off. So your equity position is growing. You know, let's face it, guys, we're all getting older. Time is not on your side health-wise generally. I mean, you're not usually, most people aren't getting into better shape as they get older. Although, you know, that's very possible if you focus on it. I've done that a couple times, really focused on it and improved my health. And so that's great. But generally, you know, we're getting older, but time can be on your side when you have a bunch of income producing properties that your renters and your lease purchase tenant buyers are paying down. So that's all. That's a lot of talking about being a millionaire. And guys, you don't have to, you know, you can have $1 million in cash and equity. Okay, so that's a faster position. You can get to $1 million in cash and equity, I would say, you know, within a couple of years. How fast can you get there? Let's say you buy one house a month. All right. Now let's say I'm okay if you're buying them. I would like it if you bought them for about $10,000 under market value and sold them for about $10,000 over market value. Generally, and I'm okay with paying that much. Now you're going to find properties where you can get better deals. You're going to say, what's the best, you know, what's the least you can sell it for? Actually, the way you're going to say it is, if we work this out and close whenever you want, what's the least you'll take? And then they'll say something and they'll say, is that the best you can do? So sometimes you get some decent spreads, but even if you just get, you know, $20,000 between what you paid and what you're asking, that's $20,000 in equity in that property immediately. And so plus whatever they gave you down, and so you're building an equity position, and then that equity position increases every year. So you're going to increase your equity position. That's how you can build fast. That's how you can get to $1 million in cash and equity pretty quickly. And I would say, you know, if you can go into a property and automatically have, you know, let's say 25 grand in equity in the house, that's a low estimate. When you look all across and average them all out, that's pretty low. But let's say you just had 25 grand in equity in each one. So how many would it take to get to $1 million? It'd take 40. So you need 40 houses like that to get to $1 million. So how many years? That's a 5-year project. Okay, that's a 5-year project to have $1 million in equity. But wait, that's not even counting the cash that you've made over that time. So for $1 million in equity, it might be, well, it's like, you know, whatever, 4 years if you calculate it, something. And so that would be a great project, and that's one house a month. But it's going to happen faster than that, and some of that properties are going to be a lot better deals than that. So I think you can get to $1 million in equity. If you really focus, that is a 2-year project. That if you want $1 million in equity, cash and equity, you can absolutely do that in a couple of years. Now, we've had students do it in a year. We've had students, you know, just go gung-ho. Now, usually you're not going to do it in the first year because you have to put a lot of pieces in place. And but I will tell you, market conditions I think are going to be great moving forward here. So I think you can absolutely, one deal a month may be very conservative for you. You might have bigger plans than that. You might want to do 2 deals a month, do 20 deals a year, something like that, and that's a great goal. So let's focus on being a millionaire. Some of you guys already are there. Some of you have $1 million in cash and equity, but I just want you to keep growing and getting bigger and better. So follow the plan that we talk about, especially with these incredible pre-funded properties, because remember, you're getting all this equity and you're putting nothing in. These are nothing down deals in many cases, or even if you have to put 5 or 10 grand in the beginning, your lease purchase buyer is paying you that back. So you're cash positive going into these deals. So even if we said, look, every deal you do, you're going to have 25,000 in equity and you're going to be 10,000 cash positive, it's probably much better than that. It's probably 20,000 cash positive because of that non-refundable option deposit. So that's only 20 houses to get to $1 million. And that you can do. That's why I know you can do this in 2 years with some focus and with some support. And I know a lot of you guys joined our deal club recently, and that's great. And that's the kind of support you need, where you are guaranteed you're going to do some real action out there and do some great things in this world. So guys, it's awesome spending this time with you. I always like to do brunch with Brian on Fridays in the formal dining room with the candles on. Let's start deep breathing now. Deep breath in. Oh, and a big smile. What a way to start the day. Another deep breath. Feels so good. Get your lungs refreshed. And your mind refreshed too. Do your deep breathing during the day. If you find yourself in a grouchy mood for whatever reason, you're not in the right role in your mind, just snap out of it. Get into the right role, and sometimes a nice session of deep breathing is just what you need. And smiling. Smiling is a fantastic way to do a pattern interrupt on a bad mood. So if you're in a kind of bad mood, get a smile, and it won't feel natural at first, but stick with it and it'll change your mood. So guys, what's the motto? I am a millionaire. Okay, now listen, I'm going to project this. So you say I am a millionaire, you have to visualize it first. Remember, when I lost 50 pounds, I started saying I am a super fit soldier, even when I didn't look like that. So you got to visualize it first, then materialize it. So let's say I am a real estate millionaire. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. I am a real estate millionaire. I am a real estate millionaire. One more time. I am a real estate millionaire. Okay, you got to build that belief, and your subconscious, when your subconscious starts thinking, wow, I'm a real estate millionaire, well, I better be doing this then, and I better be doing this, I better be getting on the phone, and your subconscious will be on your side then. You're making an ally. Affirmations make an ally of your subconscious. Wow, that's a good one. I got to write that down somewhere. All right, so great spending this time with you guys. Have an awesome weekend. We might even touch base. We might do a really cool, fun vacation this weekend, and we might tune in and drop a Facebook notice about that. So maybe we'll see you this weekend. Others, have a great weekend and a productive weekend. Go out and buy a house. Come on, summer's starting. Let's get it rolling. Go driving for dollars at least, and find some good possible candidates. So until I see you next, keep expecting success, getting awesome training, and of course, taking lots of action. See you guys soon. Have a blessed weekend.